finally, we have a version of the volcano map with an actual volcano on it. Yay! Let's see how it's set up. So here's our volcano. It has the erupt ability, which is similar to the spew ability of the geyser. It takes a few properties. So the erupt ability erupts terrain, not effects. So in our case, it's the crystal terrain. It also has a range. This particular volcano has a range of 4 tiles, so it's double the geysers that we saw earlier. It also has a concept called percent coverage. So idea with volcanic eruptions is that they're supposed to be less frequent than the geyser spewing, but they're supposed to cover a lot more tiles, so a lot larger area. So the idea is that we would identify all the tiles that could be covered and then cover a certain percentage of those as defined by this property, so 10% in our case. And then, like the geyser, it has a number of turns that it's idle following an eruption and the first turn on which it activates. So for this particular volcano, it's idle for 6 turns following an eruption, so it has a weekly cycle. It erupts one day and then it rests for 6. And it erupts for the first time on turn 4. So let's see it in action. Okay, so we need to get to day 4 and then it should erupt. There we go. So the range is 4 tiles, so this is basically as far as it goes. This is 4 tiles away from the volcano. So in this area it covered 5 tiles. And then it should rest for 6 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then on day 4 of the week after the last eruption, it should erupt again. There we go, and it covered some other tiles. Okay, so it turned the terrain, so base terrain became crystal from whatever it used to be. To see how it's implemented, so if you go back to the game state and look at the evolving of the environment, now there's an erupt function which works similarly to the spew function. So in the sense that we look at all the tiles, we find the ones that have the erupt ability. Again, we check that it's ready to activate. This works the same as on the geyser, on the spew ability. For those that are, we find the terrain to eject, and then we get all the surrounding tiles that are in range, so in this case range of 4, and then we loop through them. Now one difference here is that with the erupt ability, we don't stop the loop once we find the tile that's affected. We go through all the tiles regardless. One difference here inside the loop as well is that we have a function called whether a tile should be covered. So this is where our percent coverage takes effect. So this might tell us that yes, the tile is in range, but it shouldn't be covered because it's just got unlucky or lucky, depending on how we look at it. So for the tiles that should be covered, we just place them in the appropriate collection, depending on what kind of terrain the volcano is using. And then when the whole process is finished, then we cover those tiles with the volcano's terrain. And that's it.